Last night I added a bunch of sumac and blackberry to my mix, but I didn't. I had the mix with the spice bush in here, and I only mixed it in with what I had in here. I didn't notice that until this morning. I was like, the night before, my hands had started burning, and I know that was the spice bush. And so anyway, and it didn't happen again, and I was like, well, did I dilute it too much? So I added a bunch more spice bush, and then I realized I hadn't added this. So I've got this much spice bush left for smoking. I can get a whole bunch more of that next week when I go back to the hub, though, so that I can have that, because it makes a really nice tea. I tried it. It was good. But it's much more potent for arthritis if you smoke it. And whatever happens when it gets in through the lungs, it is more targeted to your joints that way. So I added a bunch more. It'll probably make any place where I have arthritis burn. I mean, it burnt like fire, but it wasn't unbearable. But it was so hot that when I put my hands in water that seemed like lukewarm to the rest of me, it burned my hands. So it's pretty potent stuff. But you can see I'm I'm still chopping it. I'm going to let it sit out and dry more, because the wet stuff in there is bad for your lungs. So you want it to be very dry. It's about 18%, a little over 18% tobacco right now. I want to add another 1.5 ounces of stuff to bring it down to about 15% tobacco. And I'm looking for more sumac and more ginkgo for that. Yeah, the ginkgo isn't, the ginkgo in the hell zone turned yellow, but the ginkgo in the shade is still green. Although it got cooler out, so it may be turning yellow now. I'll be on the lookout for that. And I just keep mixing it and chopping it and mixing it. I don't want to mix it so fine that you can't see the little pieces at all, but I want it mixed fine enough that you get everything in each puff. So I'm not there yet, but just keep mixing it, because I think you can hide bad medicine in a fully ground mix. Some people say, well, I want to hide my recipe and stuff like that. I'm a grandmother. It's our job to teach. So, people don't hang out with us a lot, but I want them to know what they can smoke, so they're not like thinking if they need to smoke something, it needs to be crack.